Hello students, welcome. This is Mr. Dean here. In this video, we're going to continue to understand how you can make strong visual, textual, or musical choices that will help you to enhance the ideas and themes in your hybrid short story. Together, we are going to look at an appropriate hybrid element in an example short story and discuss how the choice enhances the meaning of the text. Before we do that, however, let's look at what a hybrid text is and why authors use hybrid elements to give deeper meaning to their stories. Let's dive in.
A hybrid text is a text that results from combining elements from different genres such as music, movies, videos, sound effects, images, or other literary works. Using hybrid elements allows an author to add additional layers of meaning to the story, emphasizing their ideas or themes. We can think of a strong hybrid element choice like we would think of a strong handshake. On the one hand, we have your story with its themes and ideas, and on the other, we have additional layers of meaning or imagery created when we choose a meaningful hybrid element. A strong hybrid handshake is therefore created when a theme or idea in your story is emphasized by a hybrid element choice which gives the story greater meaning. But how do we know what a strong hybrid element choice is? Well, when choosing a picture, movie or video clip, text, song or sound effect to put in your hybrid short story, you want to consider the scale you see now. On the right, you can see that a more useful hybrid element choice would use similar themes, language, imagery, setting and emotions to your story or a passage in your story. An effective hybrid element choice might also use parody, allusion, or appropriation, terms which you may or may not be familiar with. If you need to refresh your understanding of these terms, see the glossary at the end with an example. Conversely, on the left, you can see that a less useful hybrid element choice would have no justifiable relationship to your story. But what does a strong choice look like? We're going to look at one example from a short story and how meaning is deepened using a link to another literary work.
In this story excerpt called Trapped Forevermore, we have a character named Charlotte who wants to live forever with her fiancé William by getting them to both drink a potion she makes, which will kill them both, but will have them live together forever as ghosts. Charlotte is sure William will drink, but when William refuses, she alone drinks, dies, and is trapped forever as a ghost, sorrowful at her choice. Follow as we read.
Charlotte leaned over the bubbling cauldron, adding mysterious ingredients, each one changing the colour and texture of the liquid slightly. Her hair, matted with sweat, clung to her face like a tangled bed of thorns. Occasionally, she stirred the concoction, rambling and cackling feverishly. "Not much longer now. Soon, soon." Suddenly, an image grew in the cauldron, dancing across the slick surface of the liquid. A future that would come to pass if only she could get William to drink. Charlotte carefully stood and turned to a small table. She collected 2 intricate glass goblets and poured a thick grey liquid from the cauldron into them. The door burst open and William came charging angrily into the room.
Remember that a strong hybrid handshake is created when we use a hybrid element with similar themes, language, imagery, setting, or emotions to your story, as long as your link is clear and you can justify how it adds deeper meaning.
With that in mind, let us now look to the example literary work on the right, Act 4, Scene 1 in Shakespeare's Macbeth. You will notice right away that the reason Macbeth was selected is because both Trapped Forevermore and Macbeth share similar themes and language. Yellow being a link to how the characters speak, orange being the references to making a potion in a cauldron, and blue being the mysterious ingredients. We don't really need to understand the context of this scene in Macbeth to see that as a hybrid element choice, it draws a clear link between the use of similar language and ideas about making a potion in a cauldron. But what image does this create in your mind? You might get a sense about the scene itself, or an idea of the character and what she looks like. With similar language and themes, both in the story and the hybrid element choice, a clear image of Charlotte being like a witch is produced in our minds. And we can envision her in a haunted castle in a forest, or in a dark, scary dungeon, even though it is never said that she is a witch or in any such setting. By appropriating or taking the brief scene from Macbeth as a referenced hybrid element, a deeper meaning is created, and an allusion to the similarities between Charlotte and the witches in the Macbeth scene is intentionally drawn, influencing the reader to view Charlotte in a certain way. And all that is even before we have understood the context of the Macbeth scene. From this example, you should now be able to understand how a clear link to a hybrid element choice can deepen the meaning in your story or influence how you want an idea or theme in your story to be viewed. Remember, just as this example showed, a strong hybrid element choice could use similar themes or language and produce a clear image in the reader's mind. Or you could choose a hybrid element which could link to a similar setting, prompt a specific emotion, or parody, allude to, or appropriate elements from another text, song, sound effect, or image. Each of these are tools you can use, and some will be more useful than others in creating a strong hybrid handshake. The key is to justify and draw very clear links between your work and your hybrid element choice so that a reader can get a clear idea about what deeper meaning you are trying to put forward. For now, however, as practice in linking a hybrid element to a story, you will take the same Trapped Forevermore excerpt and experiment with some provided hybrid element examples to see what meaning is produced. You will choose from the provided list and identify how each element might share similar themes and language with Trapped Forevermore, how they might produce a clear image in the mind of the reader, and what emotion they might produce in the reader. You will justify your ideas, drawing clear examples from Trapped Forevermore and your chosen element. How you choose to display this learning is up to you. However, I have a handy guide for you to use, with a completed example and some leading questions for you to consider. Stay tuned as the hybrid element examples you may choose from come up on the next screen, followed by a glossary definition and example of parody, appropriation, and allusion. Goodbye for now.